Welcome back. Now, the Tamil Nadu police team has bagged the overall championship trophy in the 11th All India Police Rifle and Pistol Shooting Competition held in Chennai. Now, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, J. Lalita, presented trophies and medals to the winners. Now, 22 state police teams and 8 central police organizations participated in the 5-day shooting competition. J. Lalita announced that she will sanction necessary funds to procure special arms that would enhance the Tamil Nadu police force.
I have no doubt that given the resources and encouragement, the Tamil Nadu police can match and excel any other police force in the world. I am sure that in the near future, the Tamil Nadu police will be the benchmark for policing.
The CBI has taken strong exception to media reports last week suggesting that the agency had given a clean sheet to Dayanidhi Maran in the 2G spectrum scam. Now, CBI counsel Venugopal told the Supreme Court that media reports that the CBI has given Maran a clean sheet are incorrect. Now, the CBI says that there is evidence that there was an inordinate and deliberate delay in issue of license to Aircel by the DOT. Now, that there was undue favour shown to Aircel once Maxis bought it, and that the Maxis owner was in touch with Maran and his brother before the sale. Now, sources close to Maran say that they are confident that he will come out clean. Well, what do Mani Ratnam, Yash Raj and now Dhanapal Padmanabhan have in common? MBAs, of course. In an emerging trend yet to be fully harnessed, filmmakers are increasingly looking at ways and means to sell their screen work to the masses. Dipti Kumar takes a look.
An opportunity to be a box office blockbuster and a room full of eager beavers, all waiting to harness their dreams. And this 2-day seminar showed them how to market mid and lower budget films using MBA students.
We published them of our employment survey, and according to that survey, the number of organized sector employment in this sector is, as of today, 14 lakhs and 13,000.
One-of-a-kind opportunity on how to take on unique challenges of marketing a forthcoming Tamil film.
Krishnaveni Panjalai.
Actually, a movie has many kind of products. Okay, so as if, for example, I am saying video piracy. We can use the students to avoid the video piracy, and only the students have the greater power to reach the people. Only the students can reach the people very easily because he can set up a network among him and he can reach the people easily.
But before marketing came listening. An eminent panel of speakers who merged both MBA knowledge and their creative eye advise the students on the do's and don'ts.
For any film, youth audience are coming first. So naturally we want to reach youth audience. So these students will reach their own student community. Not only that, it will have a ripple effect of attracting more youth towards theatre. Times are changing and we need to change our marketing strategies also. It is naturally applies to film industry.
Clearly, this was a lesson on how to go beyond mandatory internship and make a career out of celluloid.
This is the first time that movie marketing is coming to the field, so we are excited to know what it's about.
What we are reading in the books is market your product. Without marketing, we can't sell our product. So what this program is going to do is going to make the people to convince about the movie.
Now, for a film industry that reels out over 500 films yearly, the competition to be new and innovative is pushing filmmakers beyond the silver screen and into the young, enterprising minds of students like these. But taking the off-beaten track are mid-film and small-budget filmmakers like Padmanabhan, who believe that the future of their film lies in the hand of such enterprising youth. With camera person Raja Singh, this is Dipti Kumar for NDTV Hindu.
Well, who wouldn't like a clean backyard, clean roads and surroundings? But how many of us have actually taken the time to think about where our garbage is going and what's being done with it? Now imagine garbage from another area being dumped in your locality simply because there's no other option. Now, environmentalists say that there are some very viable options in fact, but is the government listening? Pratiksha Ramkumar takes a look. These garbage collection vans are en route Kodangayur and Perungudi, the city's two main dump yards, where nearly 3,000 tons of garbage is dumped every day. Clearly, a health and environment hazard for the residents. Activists say there are alternatives both to reduce and to manage the waste.
Is that there should be decentralized management of waste in which source segregation has to be followed.
Corporation officials, though, say that they have no option but to dump the waste in these two locations. Environmentalists, though, differ.
First thing is that in a city you cannot have some people being treated as second-grade citizens, and people need to be able to live with their garbage or be able to manage their own garbage in a decentralized manner.
Environmentalists say community participation and segregation of waste should be made compulsory. Residents should make manure from their degradable waste and only dispose of the plastic and paper. This model was reportedly successful in the 90s.
Source solid waste management. Source means wherever the garbage generated, for example a house, school, a college, market, there itself. Then decentralized. What is decentralized? The ward level is a space. The whole thing can be composted and the paper and plastic can be segregated, can be sent to recycling industry. Balance is centralized solid waste management.
Experts also propose an integrated plant capable of breaking down even the inorganic compounds and producing fuels. But the emissions from such an exercise is a cause of concern.
Residents and environmental activists are actually having a conference in October, mainly to showcase alternate options of solid waste management. But if these alternatives will successfully woo the Chennai Corporation and end this tug of war is the big question. In Chennai, Pratiksha Ramkumar for NDTV Hindu.
Well, in some national updates now, the CAG audit report on Air India, which has been tabled in Parliament today, indicted the Civil Aviation Ministry. Now, the CAG says crores were wasted in the purchase and leasing of aircrafts, and that was the basic reason which crippled Air India. Now, speaking to NDTV, Sandeep Phukan, the former Civil Aviation Minister Praful Patel says that the CAG report is full of contradictions.
The CAG Air India audit tabled in Parliament today slammed the Civil Aviation Ministry for wasting crores in the purchase and leasing of aircrafts, citing that as the main reason which crippled Air India. The report slammed the contract with Airbus as defective, leading to a loss of 200 crore rupees. But the Civil Aviation Ministry blamed Air India for the loss.
आज संसद में CAG का प्रतिवेदन सिविल एविएशन पर दिया गया है और जो प्रतिवेदन CAG के द्वारा सदन के पटल पर रखा गया, इसमें वो तमाम तथ्य उजागर हुए हैं जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी समय समय पर उठाती रही और CAG ने इंडियन एयरलाइंस और एयर इंडिया के मर्जर पर सवाल उठाए हैं। CAG ने जो बड़े पैमाने पर बड़ी संख्या में जो हवाई जहाज खरीदे गए उस पर सवाल उठाए हैं। CAG ने जो पिछले मर्जर के बाद जो रिवाइवल का प्लान था उस पर सवाल उठाए हैं और आज इस CAG के रिपोर्ट से ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि सिविल एविएशन और विशेष करके एयर इंडिया में लगभग 70,000 करोड़ से भी अधिक, लगभग 78,000 करोड़ के आसपास वित्तीय अनियमितताओं के संदेश या संवाद मिल रहे हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस पूरे विषय का गहन अध्ययन करने के पश्चात अपनी टिप्पणी विस्तार तौर से देगी।
The CAG report on the Krishna Godavari gas field was also tabled in the Parliament today. The report blames the Oil Ministry for bending rules to allow Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industries to benefit at the cost of the government. The report says Reliance hoarded contract area despite lack of exploration rigs and extended contracts violating production sharing norms. The CAG reports also blamed Director General of Hydrocarbons for not stopping RIL from hoarding land at the basin.
Well, there were angry words in the Parliament in the cash for vote scam, with the senior BJP leader saying that he takes responsibility for the sting operation which was conducted, which seemed to indicate how vulnerable MPs could be bought for a price when the UPA-1 government faced a vote of confidence. Now, the BJP has been defending its leaders, some of whom are in judicial custody, and LK Advani today said that he should also be arrested.
बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिन्होंने उस सारे घोटाले में, उस सारे कांड में काफ़ी पैसे कमाए। जिन लोगों ने यह कार्य किया उनको सारी दुनिया में विसल ब्लोअर्स कहा जाता है। और भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ जो जो कानून बनते हैं उन कानूनों में विसल ब्लोअर्स को इम्यूनिटी देने वाले भी कानून बनते हैं। इन नो डेमोक्रेसी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड इज एन इलेक्शन विक्ट्री supposed to legitimize all the crimes or the irregularities, misdeeds committed by the ruling party.
Well, Amar Singh will stay in jail for one more day now. The court hearing his interim bail plea today adjourned the hearing till tomorrow. Now, the court asked for medical updates on Amar Singh and asked if Tihar jail, where he is lodged currently, could provide him with the requisite care. Amar Singh has already spent 2 nights in Tihar. He has been charge-sheeted in the cash for vote scam. In the last hearing, Amar Singh's lawyer told the court that he was unwell and required constant medical supervision. And some updates now coming in from the Delhi blasts that took place yesterday. One more person who was critically injured in yesterday's bomb blast at one of the gates of the Delhi High Court has died. Now, the 40-year-old man from a Delhi suburb died in hospital, taking the number of dead up to 12. Now, 73 people have been injured so far. Many of these individuals are said to be in a critical condition. Most of the injuries sustained by the blast victims are said to be waist downwards as the bomb was placed on the ground, probably in a briefcase. Well, the Delhi High Court blast is the first terror case to be handed over to the National Investigating Agency on the very first day. An NIA team is at the blast site, or rather was at the blast site this morning searching for clues. But so far, the investigations have not made much headway. Now, there are still no clear leads. Even the email purportedly sent by Bangladesh-based terror group Huji may have just been a prank. NDTV has learnt that it has been traced to a cyber cafe in Kishtwar in Jammu. Police are now learned to be questioning the owner. He is believed to have told the police that a youth may have sent that email, and the police are looking for the suspect. And the Congress President Sonia Gandhi is back in the country after surgery in the US. Now, she returned in the early hours of this morning and is said to be fine. Now, the Congress has not disclosed the details of the surgery that was performed on Mrs. Gandhi. In Mrs. Gandhi's absence, operational control of the Congress party was looked after by Rahul Gandhi and senior leaders such as A.K. Anthony, Ahmed Patel and Janardhan Dwivedi. Well, up ahead, Djokovic has competition from the likes of Wozniacki in the race for the official joker of the Grand Slams. We'll tell you more on the other side.